you can't keep doing what you're doing.
You remember when we were kids, we worked.
You know, a lot of times people will steal your dreams.
We've got to take a hard look at this.
As long as you're moving ahead in a positive direction, you're going to reach your end goal. It's absolutely beautiful today, isn't it?
It really is. The weather's been amazing.
Yeah.
Actually, today's the first day of spring.
It is the first day of spring, isn't it? Well, you know, I'm really excited about today's show.
Yeah.
You know, I'm excited because you know, we get to start talking to people about, you know, some business opportunities, maybe how they can look to some things that they could do to, you know, to help them get out of their financial situation that they're in. You know, because one of the things that we've been hearing so much is that people are struggling financially, you know.
Right, and what we're talking about today is really exciting.
Yeah.
Because it gives people a different perspective. You know, typically in most economies, when they're down like it is right now, it can be a time where people get depressed and they feel like there's no hope.
Feel there's no hope, that's right.
But in actuality, this is a great time if you kind of flip your perspective and the way you look at things. You know, during the Great Depression, there were millionaires that were made
Absolutely.
out of that time. A lot of them.
Absolutely. Colonel Sanders.
Yeah.
Kentucky Fried Chicken was started during the Great Depression.
Hewlett-Packard.
That's right. That's right. But you know, because it's amazing how people think when something gets bad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can say something's bad, and now you're thinking, oh no, we're doomed, and this is horrible, and you know, and you can kind of receive what's going on around you.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can also look at it the way that a lot of these great people did, and you can see opportunity out of it. If we can get people to understand that if they can really adjust their thinking, renew their mind,
mm-hmm.
and get themselves into a system where they can start with good stewardship, you know,
Yeah.
and really be disciplined. You know, there's a lot of things to take advantage of right now.
Yeah, we talked about that on the last show. We
Yeah,
talked
we did.
about how we could learn how to be good stewards over our money,
Mm-hmm.
and manage our waste. In other words, cut back on things that we don't really need. You know, that excess, that
Right.
fluff. And when you can cut back, you can then save money to help
Mm-hmm.
yourself get out of debt.
That's right.
And there will be a show where we'll show people step by step how to do it. But overall,
Yeah.
you take the monies that you saved from cutting back, get yourself out of debt. Now you're in a position where you can focus on multiple streams of income. Because
Right.
one of the things that you and I learned is that when you have multiple streams of income, it changes everything.
Well, it does.
Because if one stream dries
Yeah.
up or slows down, then you have the other streams to look.
We're business people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, before we were pastors and started to minister and to have a church, we were actually business people for years, and we owned several businesses. And you know, when the market changed the way that it did,
Mm-hmm.
and the economy collapsed, you know, we got caught in some of that, and we ourselves had a lot of our eggs in one basket.
We did.
We were kind of really invested
All in the
heavily
real estate basket.
in real estate.
Mm-hmm.
And as general contractors and real estate developers and some of the stuff that we were doing, we kind of had it all there because it was going well.
Mm-hmm.
And while it was going well, you don't think about this diversification and in what ways can I do
Exactly.
other things
But we're
to have money
wiser
coming
now.
in. Absolutely.
We're
And-
much wiser. And so this is what we want to share with you guys is that and I know many of you have awesome ideas, things that you've dreamed about. We've got to learn how to dream again,
Right,
Pastor
that's
Bob.
right.
We've got to learn how to, envision, have that vision again and be excited and look to the thing that, God put on the inside of us. A lot of people are good inventors.
Right,
They
that's
have
right.
great ideas that they've never acted upon that might seem, oh, that's just a simple thing. Everybody can do it. It's not a
Mm-hmm.
big deal. When that certainly isn't true, because if you act on it, you'll find out that no one's acting on that thing. So there's ways you can come up with, there's even internet businesses now. Now we're in the age of the internet.
We watched a program yesterday on TV, and one of the things that really blessed me about something I heard the young lady say, she created something, but she said that the Lord had really led her not to share her vision for this this invention and hold it for a year. And she said one of the reasons why she felt like he did that was because, you know, a lot of times people will steal your vision, or they'll speak bad about it, or say that's never going to work. And so sometimes we get excited. God gives us these great ideas. We run out to do it, but we tell everybody.
Right.
And in telling everybody, you have to understand that everybody's not going to necessarily embrace what it is that God's planted in you. And so it kind of, when she said that, it kind of struck me with something. And with us, we talk about this all the time. There's so many great things, so many great ideas, so many things that people know how to do. A lot of times they kind of have it in the back of their mind and it's rolling around, but they never start doing that.
Right.
And what we found is you can take a lot of these things and you can generate income and start producing things from the ideas that God's already blessed you with and given you. And you're thinking it's just, it's just a thought.
It's too simple.
Right, or that'll never work.
And you know, and you can do it part-time. I mean, you know, you have a full-time job, and if you have a full-time job right now, be the best employee you can be. Do a great job.
Right.
You know, such that they can't do without you, so to speak. I mean,
That's
come
right.
up with great
be valuable.
ways.
Be valuable.
Come
Right.
up with great ways for them to save money. Be a good employee, especially in this time. All right.
Because that can relate to increase for you.
Exactly.
You bless people that you're blessed to be a blessing, and you bless people and start helping them. You receive blessing.
So you're a good steward over
That's
your
right.
job, right?
That's right.
But ultimately, you do have a vision and some things that you want to do. So you can start that part-time. Now, you're going to be working a lot on this thing, but you and I both know if we want anything out of life, we're going to have to work for it. So when I get off work, I work a little bit on this business idea that the Lord has given me, or this invention that the Lord has given me. Now that I'm a good steward over my money, you know, I understand money, I'm out of debt, you know, I'm secure in my job or not, but I'm a good employee while I'm there.
Right.
I can start now working on that dream.
Well, let me ask you a question, because for those watching, and you know they've maybe seen some of our shows, maybe not. But what's the number one thing you suggest for those that are watching? Because we're getting into now how to start businesses and how to have multiple streams of income. What would you suggest they do to get started?
Well, you bring up a good point, because if we're going to start a business,
Right.
we have to know how to manage our money, because so many small businesses fail because they don't know how to manage their finances.
Right.
So, you know, once we've now cut back on the waste, right? We've taken these monies, we can start now chunking down or cutting down on the bills that we have, right? And it's very simple.
And that waste, as we discussed previously in previous shows, was really things like looking at your bills, not overpaying for your cell phone, looking at your cable bill and cutting it, looking at your food bill and things like that, and cutting these expenses, which would then be just like you getting an increase in income. And then using those to start paying down things that you owe.
Which is what you did for us. Remember when you made that list, when we were knee deep in debt? I mean, well, actually, no, we were...
We were above knee deep.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah, we were
over heels.
Yeah, we were up to the eyeballs.
And so we had to then realize, you know what? We've got to take a hard look at this. Even though it's painful, we didn't want to.
Right.
I didn't want to. I didn't want to see it. And we had to make a list of everything. If you owe Grandma, Pookie, whoever you owe, the credit card companies,
if you owe, you owe.
You owe, right?
Yeah, that's
right. And so you make a list from the smallest to the greatest bill.
Right.
And then we cut back, like we're suggesting that people do.
Right.
And then we took the monies that we saved, and we started with the smallest bill first.
Remember
that?
We did. And then as we went through and started to pay them off, and it all happened faster than people think.
Sure.
Okay, because now you're not just paying the $32 minimum payment on your credit card.
Right.
You're paying whatever you saved on your credit card. So now if it's $500 balance and you've figured out a way in your expenses to save yourselves $300 in 1 month, don't get tempted to spend the $300. You take the $300 and you get rid of the debt.
Because sometimes we cut back and we're like, woohoo, I've got an extra $300 this month.
Let's go out
to the mall.
I'm going to go buy me some new shoes.
No, you can't do that because your focus is to get out of debt. And so you're going to pay off that first bill first, and then it sort of snowballs. We call it the avalanche effect.
That's right. That's right.
And so you're going to pay off the first bill. Once that bill's paid off, you're going to take that money in addition to the money that you've saved from cutting back on your waste, and then you're going to pay off the next bill.
So now as this starts moving along, and there's a lot of components to this, we can't really cover all of them, but we want to make sure every time we do these, we want people to be left understanding that there's some things I can do immediately today from what I just heard. Okay, and from what we're saying really is this, because if you start doing these things, if you start taking peace and take these pieces, and you start with just the one piece for right now. You're started. You've gotten started. You realize you got to do something.
You're taking a step in the right direction.
And as long as you're moving ahead in a positive direction, you're going to reach your end goal. And there's so many other ways. Now we start to get into the discussion of business. Now we personally do other businesses, and we like to have multiple streams of income.
Have multiple streams.
This is the time of the internet.
Yeah.
Okay, we're in a wonderful time. You can make as we are right now, and this is just, and this wasn't actually a planned part of our discussion today, but even as we stand here, my computer has gone off to let me know that we have sales. Okay, and we love that because we're selling things even while we're doing the show.
Exactly.
And so that's income while we're asleep at night. Okay, we get up in the morning and we have sales because we have internet-based businesses. So as we do that, we've seen that we can do that and generate income while we're off doing something else. I could go fishing, I could go golfing, you could be getting your hair done, doesn't matter, but we're making money.
Exactly.
And so there's many things that you can do. There's so many people that have so many great ideas, things that could be small businesses, things that they can run out of their homes, things that they can sell. So that's a big component of what we talk about with this as well.
You bring up another good point when you said things that you can sell out of your house. There's so much waste in people's homes, in the attic, in the basement, in the garage, you know.
Storage units. People have storage units.
You are so right.
And the storage units have as much stuff in them as they have in the basement of their house. Something's a little off right there.
We have too much stuff, don't we?
Yeah, but if you have stuff in storage, and you're watching this teaching today, and you have stuff in storage that you haven't seen in over a year,
you don't need it, do you?
You need to really consider. You need to really consider getting rid of it.
You can save on the storage bill, number one. Number two, you can save by selling the items that you don't need. You can even give some away because you can sew.
That's right. That's right.
But imagine how much money you can make off of the stuff that you have in storage, or the stuff that you're not even using. Go through your cabinets, go through your closets, go through your attic, go through your basement, go to that storage unit, sell those items, get rid of that bill at the storage unit.
Yeah, because that's another expense.
That's another expense.
You're paying storage for something. And if you figure, I've met people that have had stuff in storage for 2 and 3 and going on 4 years, at an average of $120 to $150 a month.
Wow!
I mean, you do the math here. You bought a car.
Yeah.
You did not to mention the stuff that you got in there. You forgot you had it.
Right.
You don't even know you have it.
That's true.
So you're not missing it.
That's true.
So if it was sold or gone, you wouldn't even miss the fact that you had it.
That's true.
Now, and this isn't obviously speaking about people that run businesses and things like that where they, use it, but we're talking about just stuff.
The average homeowner
Stuff.
has a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And so going back to it, this is a great economy to build businesses, to gain wealth, to come up with those creative ideas that you had, to dream again, to say, how can I, because some people are unemployed. This might be the time for you to start that business you've always wanted to start.
That's right.
This might be the time for you to start that, baking business or doll making business. I don't know.
One door closes, another one opens.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
And we talked about this, and we like to keep reiterating this because I believe that a lot of times things aren't just happenstance. Okay. Things happen to us, and sometimes we may hit something, a low or a trial in life, but good can come out of that. Okay. We learned a lot, and some of the most important lessons we learned were the lessons we learned when we had this major failure.
Right.
Okay. Now, the major failure for us was obviously the one being in business and being heavily leveraged in the real estate and construction industry. And so when it flopped, it flopped hard, and we got caught and hit hard.
Right.
But we learned so much. Okay, we didn't get bitter.
Right.
We realized that the mistakes that we had made were decisions we didn't really, looking back on it, evaluate and weigh properly.
But isn't that part of growth, though?
Well, it is.
You don't go through challenges in life. I mean, Jesus said, I will never leave you or forsake you.
That's right.
Okay? But he didn't say you'll never have any challenges in life.
And he also said he desires for us to be healthy and prosperous.
Right.
Okay? Because he loves us. So, it's not like there's something that happens to us because there's some punishment.
Right.
There's consequences sometimes for things that we do, actions that we take, and we have to deal with those.
Right.
But if he'll never leave us or forsake us, then we'll be fine, right?
He's with us in the storm.
That's right.
He's with us when we're in the valley. He's with us when we're on the mountaintop. He's with us in all those challenges. Remember the story in the Bible where Jesus gets in the boat and he's like, we're going to get to the other side, and then the storm came?
That's right.
and all the disciples just started
Oh, panic.
panicking.
And Jesus was asleep in the bottom of the boat.
Jesus was asleep in the bottom of the boat.
Yeah.
They got to the other side, did they not?
That's right.
So we will get to the other side as well. But
Right.
on the way, we might have a couple of challenges.
Right, that's right.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Learn from it.
We like to try things. We're not people that just stay, kind of in a box where
Right.
we're fearful.
Right.
Because we don't, you can't operate in fear
Right.
when you operate in
That is
faith.
so true.
And so we're faith people, and we have a great deal of faith about what God's put in us, what He's called us to do, our ability to be able to help people, to encourage people, motivate folks, take people in situations that when it seems bad, and find the good,
Right.
and be able to be motivated from that. The thing that I have really learned throughout all this process is, out of all the things that we've tried and all the failures, I realized that if I didn't ever try anything, I wouldn't fail, but I would never ever succeed either.
Exactly.
Okay, so failure relates to us moving forward.
Right.
And because I actually tried something, we ventured out. Okay, maybe we did fail at something, but it doesn't mean that you're doomed. It
What it
doesn't mean
means
it's
is that
all
you
over.
tried something.
It means that I tried
And
something.
so then guess what? You can get back up and try it again.
That's right.
Try something else.
And then
Try
you got
something new.
information, you got knowledge, you got things that you've learned. We don't want to learn everything by doing it the wrong way, but if you happen to do something and what you didn't turn out right, don't allow your zeal
Exactly.
and zest for life and for pushing and pursuing passion, don't allow that to be taken from you because you had a failure.
Right.
Okay? We have to keep ourselves in a mindset that, look, you talked about it. Jesus said He would never leave us
Or forsake.
nor forsake us.
Exactly.
Okay? And if we know that He's with us,
We can't lose.
we can't lose. So the thing that I think now that we're really, really getting into, and we're so excited about being able to do this, is just to continue to encourage the people that we come in contact with, because we're at a time in our economy where a lot of people have been, they're down.
Right.
They're hurting.
Right.
Financially, they've been devastated.
Right.
They've lost homes. They've filed bankruptcy. They've had their cars repossessed. They've had so many things, humiliating things.
Right.
Someone coming to your place of work and serving papers on you, or garnishing your paycheck, or putting a lien on your account. Okay, and those things can just be, that just can take the wind out of you.
Those things can take the wind out of you, and they can also make you fearful because
Right.
they're designed to paralyze you.
Right.
And to make you afraid. And so if you can rise out of that, stand on the Word of God where He says not to be afraid.
That's right.
He doesn't want. He
That's
said,
right.
"I did not give you a spirit of fear,
That's
but I
right.
gave you a spirit of power and of love and of a sound mind." And
That's
so,
right.
refuse to be afraid.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be afraid. Jesus said He would never leave me or forsake me. Yes, I went through a hard time. Yes, I made some mistakes. I repent from that, and He's going to show you a better way.
That's right.
Now that you're stronger and you're wiser.
And that's what He did with us.
Yeah.
I mean, what He really did with us was, and it brought us closer together as a family.
It did. Yeah.
It brought us closer to Him in our walk spiritually. We took things that for a lot of people probably would have just made them want to kind of throw in the towel and say, I don't want to do business no more. I don't want to do this.
Right.
We took those things and we really used those things to help us to get to the next level, to get to where God really wanted us to be. And for us, we knew that was, owe no man nothing but to love him.
Right.
Now, we take that on as, our way of living and the way that God's called us to do it as far as not using debt. Now, debt's not a sin. We don't tell people that you can't have debt, but if you don't know how to manage the small, you can't take on the big.
Exactly.
Okay, and for most people what happens, because we were never really taught as youth, I never really received any real training from my parents. I mean, they were good people, but they didn't know either.
They don't teach you in school really.
We both went to college. We got college degrees in business. We took business courses and finance and things like that, but we didn't really learn the nuances and the essence of running and doing a productive business.
Valuing money.
And understanding how to use money.
Right.
And how to use debt.
And so we talked about paying off our credit cards and getting out of debt.
Right.
How about let's just operate off of cash?
Yeah. that'll be a light bulb moment for you.
That's an eye opener.
You do that whole
Everywhere
cash
you
around
go,
all day and pay for everything
money
with cash.
Exactly, and then you can see how the money is kind of flying out of your hand, and you be quicker to think, I don't think I want to buy that.
That's right.
So if we just go back to the way it used to be. Remember when we were kids, our parents didn't have
credit
cards.
There were no credit cards.
They put it on layaway. Remember?
Oh yeah, I
put it
remember
on layaway.
Yeah, I remember layaway. We talk about this. It's one of the teachings that we do.
And that took patience.
And this is not in this series, but you did a teaching once, or we have a teaching that we talk about credit cards.
Right.
And we talk about money and the history of money. Fascinating teaching. We did that at a seminar.
Yeah.
And we talked about the history of money and went all the way back.
Right.
And actually, I went all the way back to biblical, to the very beginning of like how some of these things had transpired and been able to be put in place.
Right.
So that our government and our system and way of working as an economy got to be where it is.
Right.
Okay, and one of the fascinating parts about that was this whole credit card piece.
Oh, I know.
And I know we don't have a lot of time to go into that today, but there were so many fascinating things that we discovered about how they were introduced.
How we were programmed to think we had to have
one.
Oh, yeah. It was convenient. Oh, you need one in your wallet.
Right. Even to the point that some things won't allow you to pay without a credit card.
That's true, yeah.
Like you used to could use cash.
And really, there's nothing wrong with them if you know how to manage them.
Right.
If you used one and your whole thing was, I use this and I pay it off at the end of the month or before the end of the month, that's okay.
Right.
But typically, the average person has a card. They have 1, 2, 3 credit cards. They're all maxed out.
Yeah.
The interest rates are through the roof. Right. So we just lose control. And it's so easy, Pastor Rock, to go to the store and just go.
We need to be always mindful that we're living within our budget. Okay, especially when we're trying to get ourselves out of a bad situation where we've got ourselves into a deep hole with the debt,
right?
And we want to come up out of that, and we want to get ourselves into a better place.
What debt can tend to do, what taking a lot of loans can tend to do, and what having a lot of credit card debt can tend to do is cause you to live above your means, and it can cause you to have this illusion of being wealthy. When you get rid of all those loans, you get rid of all the credit cards and all these ways that they've given us to get money quickly,
right?
And you start to just deal with cash. You can truly see how much money you really have and how much you can really afford.
If you think about it now, because we are really used to using a card. Let's face it, everybody's used to. Hey, you go to the store, boom, you swipe the card. You go for groceries, whatever it is, clothing, and we've done this a few times. And and I tend to try to carry some cash. But you take this cash, the same amount of cash, and carry that around, and then as it starts to kind of dwindle down, you might have 200, 300, 400, but you keep cracking those hundreds, and then all of a sudden it's nothing, and then you go to the next one and it's nothing.
Right.
You start looking at it a lot differently.
Yeah.
You won't keep spending.
You won't spend as much.
No, you'll actually put the brakes on, because you're like, I don't have. My money is kind of dwindling away.
I don't think that's worth that much.
Yeah,
I don't want to see that coming out of my wallet. I don't think I really need that.
And we used to joke with our kids, when we started really doing this tight budget thing, when we were coming out of the situation that we were in. Remember the kids, we would go out and they'd say, Dad, can I get these shoes, or can I get... And we'll say, do you have some shoe money?
Well, you bring up another point. We have to train our children.
Yeah,
the Bible says, train up your children in the way they should go.
And they shall not depart.
And they shall not depart from. So not only do we need to quickly learn about money, but we've got to quickly train our children so that the cycle
of debt stops. This using debt
We've
the
got
way
to
that we
bring
do.
it to an end and teach them the value of money, how to manage their money. You remember when we were kids, we worked.
Oh, absolutely.
This is another whole subject, but kids don't want to work anymore.
I told our youngest daughter, she's 13, will be 13 in next month, and I told her yesterday, she started talking about all these things she wanted for her birthday, remember? Yes. And I got into this conversation with her about what I used to do when I was a kid, because and I told her as a teenager, 13 years old, I made $170 a week.
Woohoo!
It's a lot of money back then.
A lot of money.
We're talking
what
70s.
What are you doing?
Well, I did a number of things, but I cut grass and I worked in a restaurant.
Kids don't cut grass anymore.
So I did both.
But kids don't want to work. They feel like they're entitled to everything, and they want their parents to give them everything. The parents are in debt.
Well, some of the parents feel entitled. Everybody, see, this is the thing. If you're going to get out of where you are, if you're going to stop this cycle of debt and all the things that have been going on in your life that you don't like, you can't keep doing what you're doing. See, if you want a different result but you're doing the same thing.
Right.
That doesn't work.
Right.
Okay, so in order for us to break the cycle and to really start to see and some advancement in this area of our finances, we have to face and look at and be very transparent about what's going on with each other. If you're a couple, if you're a single person, then maybe get somebody else, some family member or someone that's good with money, and you got to be transparent about it. You got to say, I got a problem.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
And I don't want to live this way the rest of my life.
Right.
Because if you change it now and you fix it, okay, if you're sacrificing now, you're only doing that now so that later you don't have to do this.
Exactly.
So that you can live the way you want to live. And so that's what success really in life is all about. Joy and peace and happiness and love and just enjoying every day when you get up, but not being in bondage.
Exactly. No, we've got to learn how to get a hold of this money thing and learn that we got to stop spending. Because we have a spending mentality.
Oh, yeah.
Spend, 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 spend.
Yeah.
So if we stop the spending, stop the wasting, get out of debt, get rid of the credit cards, start a business or a couple of businesses.
Yeah, and we've talked about that, and we're going to talk about it some more on future shows. I mean, one of our goals, one of our passions, one of the things that we really want to do is we want to be able to go around and have the time that we can really spend to invest with a group of people.
Yeah.
Where we can not only walk you through all these steps of this process of how to get out of debt and how to stay out of debt, but then
that's key too.
How to develop businesses.
Exactly.
Okay, businesses that bring you income, even while you're out enjoying the day, fishing, golfing, riding your motorcycle, whatever it is you like to do, but that you would still have income. We shared that we have income that comes in even as we're doing this show.
Right.
Our computer's going off and saying, hey, we've sold some things and we have income coming in. That's a beautiful, when we really established that business and we saw it for all it was worth, we were like, woohoo!
Well,
it was a wonderful, wonderful experience to see that we could invest, put something out there, and start to immediately see benefits come from it.
That's where the Lord wants us to be. He said, I would that you prosper and be in health even as your
Your
soul
soul
prospers.
prospers.
He wants
That's
us to
right.
prosper in every area of our life. See, prosperity includes money. We don't want to overlook it.
That's right.
It includes your health, your relationships, your family, and
Joy,
all of these things.
peace,
Success in every area of
That's
your
right.
life.
That's
But
right.
we do realize that the financial area is huge.
It is.
And that is one that can tend to take people out.
Especially in a time like we're in today.
And we hope it's being
Yeah.
a blessing to you. We're hoping that you're learning something that you can, that there's a takeaway, that you can take away from this program, some things that you can apply to your life starting today by making up your mind. Because see, prosperity and poverty starts in your mind. It's a mental thing.
Yeah.
So you got to make up your mind today, you know what, I am done with being in this position. I am tired of being tired.
That's
I'm
right.
tired
Sick and tired of being
sick and tired of being sick and tired.
So our prayer for you is that God would bless you, He would prosper you, that wisdom and revelation knowledge would come to you in this area, that what we've imparted today and the information we've given you will be a blessing to you, that it would inspire you to stop standing for what's currently going on. If you've got bad situations in your life, financially is the root of it, if this is the root of it, then you can do something about it.
That's right.
We know that, we believe that, and we trust God that He'll make it happen for you. God bless you, we love you. Hi, I'm Pastor Rod Spratley, and this is my lovely wife, Pastor Jennifer, and we just want to invite you to go to our website.
Our website is www.kingdomlifechurchintl.org.